then the chairman of CNG to give a detailed brief on that.
Of development in all the states. To come that statement like General Water. To the Vice President, the most senior public officer in government. To our two Ministers of Defense, all from the North. And very importantly, the Minister of Agriculture, also from the North. And his deputy too, he's the Minister of State, also from the North. I don't know why the President decided to give the North these two crucial ministries. I would like to ask him and ask the ministers why trying to give us defense and agriculture, security and development, because North knows nothing but agriculture for its development since time immemorial. But we've thrown away everything when oil was found. Today we're all here lamenting, but there's no time for lamentation. When the committee came to see me in Sokoto, like the chairman of this coordinating committee rightly said, I told them we will not lose hope. We must not lose hope. And that's why I pray to Almighty Allah to make it possible for me to be here. And Alhamdulillah, I've not that because whoever really mattered, especially the frontline governors of the North that face this insecurity are all here. And I'm very pleased to see that. It's not a place where we make so much comments about insecurity or otherwise. Because this is live. So many, maybe for, there are some things people might not say that will go to public, because as we are talking, these bandits are also listening. We should know that, because the world is fast changing. But they should know we are more concerned about the millions of innocent people Almighty Allah placed their leadership on us, not them. So whatever way we can, we must find peace for the North. It means reaching out to everybody, whoever that person is. And that's why we have the Chief of Defense Staff here. And you're talking of kinetic or non-kinetic ways of getting peace or getting security in our places. I totally agree, because even wars are fought to keep peace. So you can't continue fighting. And I'm very pleased with what Attorney General said. And I'm not going to bring back his point, but they're all recorded now. So let's look at all those things he said and deliberate on such things and then come up with what is the way forward. I've said this at so many fora. I can't remember how many times I've said it. We Nigerians in particular do not lack proposals, issues, knowledge of how and where we should bring solutions to our problems. What we lack is implementation. And I told the committee that came, we must find a way of implementing. Let this not be another talk show, at the end of which we all go back to our various places, then call for another meeting in 3 months or 4 months, we're still talking about the same thing. How do we implement what is going to be arrived at this forum? It's very important, because you hardly gather people like this in one place at a time. But I want to thank all of you who turned up, especially the governors, because like the last speaker said, they are the front line soldiers. They are the ones who listen to everything and do everything for everybody. Everybody brings the problem to the governor. But also, when people take problems to the governors, they allow the national ruler to solve those problems. Because that's why we're there. And I'm very happy that the Minister of Agriculture is here. We must diversify our economy thing. That's why Chief Audu said the 3 problems: economy, economy, economy. Now, how do we revive our economy? Let's go back to agriculture, because we must have food. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much oil you have, you must eat. Like this slogan we used to have in the military, in my military days, when CDS was a young officer. I was a senior by far. Man must work. Chris, you see, we must concentrate on agriculture. We must come back. Look at Niger State, like people have just said now. What really is the problem with us? Now, if we don't tackle these issues with all honesty, with all sincerity, with the fear of Almighty God, we cannot move forward. We must put politics aside. Places where you have governors of the same extraction, the same state, because they belong to different political parties, they are busy fighting. When Mr. A wants to go to town, he goes with all his talks. Let me use the word. Because this boy is following you, you don't even know them. You don't know their parents. If there's any clash, they die, the parents don't even know that the children are dead. You don't even visit their parents to condole them because you don't know them. But they believe in you as their political leader. And that's what we must face. So at this forum, let's all agree, put politics aside. All of us belong to one institution, and that's called the Northern States of Nigeria. And I have said it so many times, if the North develops, it's part of Nigeria's development. Now this is important for us. The insurgency is so much in the North. We never knew this thing before. When I was a defense advisor in Pakistan, I used to write my reports every week to DIA. That was some 20 years ago. I used to write my reports about the insurgency, the banditry, the terrorism in my area of operational responsibility, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia. I covered those areas for 3 years, so I have a little knowledge of what terrorism is all about, what banditry is about, what all these insecurity issues are. So we advise our governors, we advise our leaders, we must be more serious. We must keep politics aside. And if we do that, I think we have put one very bad element away. So I'd like to assure this gathering, as traditional leaders in the northern part of the country, I happen to be the chairman, the outcome of this program today will be discussed by us on 13th of February, and we've also invited the leader of this group to join us and see what we can do, what we can contribute. Because we know in those days, the traditional leaders are the chief security officers in their various places. At 2 a.m., if a visitor enters town, by sunrise, the district head will know Mr. A had come in. But it's not the case now. Why? There are changes, yes. Time changes, so do people. There are changes in our various governance systems. But, like Professor Tarjaga said, let's not throw away the roles of traditional leaders who have known this thing centuries before the present political dispensation came in, who happened to govern places that made up the present-day Nigeria before the 1914 amalgamation. So all of us knew what Sokoto Caliphate was, Kanem Borno Empire, Benin Empire, Oyo Empire. They're all institutions that were governed by those people, but there was no Nigeria. Now we have Nigeria. We are more concerned with those places than an average person. So let's look at how we can help. And I want to assure our political leaders, you are political leaders because changes happen. And we accept changes because changes are important for us to move forward. Traditional leaders are not, and they will never be, adversaries or competitors with political leaders. We are partners, we work together, we must work together whether we like it or not. The governors must work together whether we like it or not, if we want our places to be safe and developed. So let's keep politics aside and let's move forward. I'm pleased that this program is taking place today. I want to thank the CNG and all the other stakeholders for coming. I want to thank General Abubakar for finding time to be here. You can see he hardly walks properly, but he had to abandon the comfort of his house and use his, I think he has about 6 legs, Because 1, 2, 3, 4 on the stick, then the 2 on this. To be here, that showed the commitment and the sincerity and the seriousness of the issue. We put some of these words so that at least we're a little bit relaxed. But it's a much more serious issue facing the North. And we must rise up, or we'll all be dwarfed in the numerous problems that are facing us. So many days ago, I've heard people talking of revolution, and I never knew what revolution was when I was a young officer. I am just a pure military officer and a soldier who obeys orders and doesn't know no for an answer. It's always yes sir, yes sir. We know that we have problems now, and we must rise up to face the challenges facing the North. And this is a bright forum for it, and I want to thank all the governors in particular, because all the frontline governors are here. That's why I'm very happy that they are here. They hear these comments from people. They've heard what Chief Audu Ogbe said, the former Minister of Agriculture, and also an elder statesman, former chairman of ACF, and also Professor Tahir Jega, who said it all bluntly as usual. And that's what we need. We need to talk to ourselves bluntly. There's no time for hide and seek. If you have someone say, look at your Wankaba or in Chibi, ask your dog about Goshi. This is the time we must seize the opportunity. The 2023 elections are gone. Governors have emerged. Some few, 1 or 2 more cases, which are just, I think, on the let's face administrative issues, let's face leadership of our people, let's face the challenges facing the North. Because if North develops and is secure, Nigeria is also developed and secure. I'd like to thank CNG once more and all the stakeholders and all the distinguished leaders of the me invited today, like the Vice President and also the Chairman of Northern Governors Forum. I've just reminded you, we have a meeting on 13th where they invited you. You must be there. I'm not asking you, it's a must. Can you go and so you must be there. I've known him for 40 years. That's why I'm giving this order. He knows me. 40 years, you know. It's important, let's talk about these issues. So I'm waiting, we will be waiting for the outcome of this 2-day summit. And when all the Northern traditional leaders meet of the 19 Northern states and FCT, we will deliberate on it and then know what to do. Then we'll take some of these issues with the governors, our own governors, who will decide on how we go about it. But we must never be afraid of taking very hard decisions. We must never be afraid. And we must take hard decisions. We must take hard decisions. Kinetic, non-kinetic, whatever it is, whatever you call it, we must bring peace to the North. And inshallah, peace will come to the North. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And the solutions in place to resolve them. I believe the informed gathering here is aware of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's promise to the nation in his inaugural speech of ending insecurity, that ending insecurity is a cardinal agenda of the government. As such, we have never downplayed the foundational role of security in governance matters. This rationale led to allocating the largest share of this year's budget to the security sector. And day after day, week after week, we intensify efforts to neutralize national security threats, emphasizing with families, communities, and the nation when breaches to our elaborate security law and order occur. We recognize the utility of multiple approaches to dealing with insecurity, from engaging armed groups through various strategies to addressing many of its roots, such as widespread corruption and poverty. As we endeavor to improve the quality of life and security for our citizens, we must also look beyond lamentations and focus on building solid defense systems and institutions to prevent and redeem the identified lapses. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens, let us acknowledge that we are bound by a shared destiny as one nation. It is crucial, above all, that we are honest with ourselves. For too long, some of us have perpetuated baseless conspiracy theories and fabricating events, weaving narratives that falsely portray one region or group as being neglected or being given preference over the other. I assure you that this government will never deprive any part of our country or any group to bestow advantages upon another. To achieve lasting order, we need to emphasize and practice a culture of trust that defines us. Therefore, we must first come together to address the misinformation warfare that has pervaded our media ecosystem. And this is crucial because even the communications of our MDAs sometimes are hijacked to sow seeds of discord amongst the nation. Every part of this country is equal to the rest, and the government treats the needs of each region as critical. For the North, we are also embarking on a transformative journey to address the root causes of the challenges. The Pulako initiative, a non-kinetic solution, has received the presidential approval with an allocation of 50 billion naira in the first instance. This initiative aims to enhance living conditions and livelihoods in selected states, starting with Sokoto, Kebbi, Katsina, Benue, Zamfara, Niger, and Kaduna. The construction of residences, roads, schools, and other essential facilities is set to commence, promising to catalyze the fortunes of this region. I call on CMG as a group to please partner with us so that we can take inputs and recommendations in fashioning out the implementation of this program. And I implore each of you to join us as we strive to serve the people and build a nation where every citizen thrives. We cannot proclaim our country from criminals until we come together. God, in His infinite mercy, created our country as home to hundreds of communities, and we share the same space and the same means of livelihood or sources of distress. No community can win a war against its neighbor, regardless of the number of battles or their intensity. The true victory in inter-community conflict lies in achieving peace. Similarly, relying solely on a single approach to address banditry, kidnappings, insurgency, crude oil theft, and intercommunal violence will not effectively eliminate these threats and establish a safe and secure country. We acknowledge that deploying the military and police alone against every security threat is not the sole solution. However, we are committed to continually enhancing the resources and support for the police and armed forces to become the very best they desire. While we should not make excuses for those with responsibilities to protect us, we should also be mindful of the demoralization among their rank and file. My hope is that this workshop will contribute novel ideas and insights into the roots of and solutions to our insecurity. We need citizens and communities to participate in the discourse on the strategies in place and propose to intensify our sworn duties and to fulfill our constitutional responsibilities as leaders. Once again, I want to express my appreciation to the organizers of this workshop for bringing together a high-quality and inclusive forum to address the threats